Hi there, I'm X King. Welcome back to another episode where I review films currently in theaters. Well, a 26 plus year old is going to be reviewing and talking about Barbie. I know that's weird, right? But you clicked on the video, so that's what you get. So, Barbie is about Barbie, played by Margot Robbie, who has pretty much her ideal life. She is a resident of Barbie Land. She pretty much gets everything she wants and lives in idealistic utopia. However, one day things start to go awry. Her life starts to turn upside down, and she has to go into the real world to investigate why these things are happening to her. And Ken, played by Ryan Gosling, comes along for the ride as well. So, this film, when I first heard about it, I was very skeptical. I did not expect this movie to be any good at all. Then I heard Greta Gerwig was directing it. I'm like, that could have potential. And honestly, the story is surprisingly pretty good. So obviously, a movie like this is going to have a lot of feminist messages about taking down the patriarchy and how women need to respect themselves and try to overcome the challenges in everyday life that they face. I'm not going to comment too much on that because anytime a person of my particular gender tries to comment on that type of things, usually doesn't come out great, even with the best expectations in mind. That being said, there's a lot more to this movie than just that. There's also the message of how kind of corporate ideas kind of also mess with feminism and how they will market things towards feminist as a product, but really not represent feminism in the best possible way. Then we also have a plot here about an existential crisis that a character is going through in our main character, Barbie, as she starts to question her entire reality and really what she wants as a person, not just a product. Also, there's also a minor subplot about the nature of ideas and how they kind of can take form as a life of their own. So, yeah, there is a lot to talk about in this movie, and I can't go through all of it because I would have to spoil things. But needless to say, I was really surprised at how smart this movie actually was. Now, I don't mean that the film is trying to be amazingly artistic or try to be like snobby and all that. It knows what it is. It knows that it's a Barbie movie and that a lot of people aren't going to take it seriously, so it knows to have fun with its concept. That being said, it also knows when it needs to be serious, and I really appreciated that. A lot of the more serious philosophical moments and issues that this film presents are treated really well and aren't as out there as they really could have been in a film like this. And I honestly really feel like this film could have been amazing. One thing kept it away from being amazing, and that was the overabundance of characters. Now, I actually like the dynamic between Barbie and Ken here. I kind of like what they're going through, each as individuals and as a pair. And I kind of like how they start questioning their own realities and kind of wondering what they want in life. I really like that. That being said, the film has way too many characters. We have an entire boardroom of Mattel executives that continuously pop up in the movie and don't add anything. You could have cut Mattel from the entire film and nothing would have been lost, really. And that's truly, like, the main issue here. This film is stock full of characters, and they are trying to give each character a good moment to shine, and sometimes it just doesn't work. There's also this mother-daughter character who basically come along for the ride, and their dynamic is really weird, and I don't really understand it. I feel like if this film was more focused on the Barbie and Ken dynamic, and to a different extent, Barbie and the dynamic maybe with the mother and daughter, maybe this film would have worked. But films need to realize throwing a bunch of characters on the screen is not going to help your movie. It's going to make it worse. Now, that being said, all the performances here are great. Margot Robbie as Barbie, let's face it, when we all heard Margot Robbie was getting cast as this character, we all realized that that was fantastic casting. And then when we heard Ryan Gosling was cast as Ken, we were really confused for a few minutes. But he pulls it off! And all the actors do an amazing job. I usually don't like narration, but Helen Mirren does a fantastic job as our narrator, and she gives off a lot of snide remarks as to what's going on, and I found them funny. And the only performance I had issue with is Will Ferrell. Now, say what you want to say about Will Ferrell, but I just never liked him. I never liked Will Ferrell. And I did not think he was the right person for the Mattel executive. He could have just been cut from the entire movie, and we would have lost nothing. As he is, he's just doing his normal shtick. And honestly, it's just kind of lame. The visuals here, I really like them. I really like how stylized Barbie Land, God, these sentences I never thought I would say in my life, looks, and I really like how it looks like a life-size world that Barbie would inhabit it. And I like how it contrasts with the real world. I do wish we stayed more in the real world and expanded that a little bit so we could get more of a definite different visual style for the reality versus the Barbie Land, but we're not really there enough to it really stretch out as a difference as far as visual style goes. That being said, I still like all the shots in this film, and I do like how stylized it came across at times. The music, it's cheesy, over the top, goofy fun. Everything I expected from this movie. And some of the songs, yes, there are songs in this movie, are done perfectly. And I really do like them in this movie. And I like my favorite song would probably have to be, without spoiling it, is I Am Ken. That song is really gosh darn catchy, and I really enjoyed it. At the end of the day, Barbie surprised me. I was not expecting this film to be as deep as it was. If they had just focused on the characters that mattered and cut out the ones that didn't, I think this film would have been a blowout. That being said, even though the characters weren't the strongest, the performances were great, and the visuals were amazing, with a music score that I actually kind of like, and the story is really deep and thoughtful, and I think people will flock to this movie. So I'm going to give Barbie an 8 out of 10. I'm going to give this a recommendation as for women my age, if not a little bit younger than me, actually, because this really is for people who are kind of lost, trying to really find themselves in the world that really is kind of cruel to them. And I really think like women my age or younger are going to sympathize with that feeling, because a lot of people my age or younger, just younger than me, are going through that type of phase as they're starting to enter the workplace and starting to realize how harsh this world really is towards women particularly. And I think that a lot of people in that group will sympathize with this film. Anyway, that's what I felt about Barbie. What did you think about it if you've seen it? Let me know in the comments below. And if you like this video, like, comment, and subscribe. And I'll see you next time.